there are sort of two groups, right? Those who can talk about it, those who cannot. Those who cannot talk about it among civil rights children are of two groups. One who are similar like my brother. My brother can talk about it, but he's not engaged in it in the same way as I am. And that's because I'm the older child. I'm the one who becomes a historian. I'm the one who is like steeped in it. It comes out in my brother's thinking and what he talks about, but he doesn't talk about it in the same way. The other group are those who have been violently damaged by the movement. And those are the ones who have, in a lot of ways, they have suppressed rage. They have post-traumatic syndrome. And they are written out of the history. There's no space for them. When you craft a narrative of the civil rights movement, of tragedy to triumph, there is no space in there where somebody says, I really wanted to kill that white man. There is not a space where you get to say, I really hated my parents when they made me do this, right? There's no space where you get to say, I was afraid every time my parents left the house. There is no place in the historical narrative, in the narrative of tragedy to triumph, that allows for those very real feelings, that allows for them to unburden themselves, because you're not having any burden. You're not supposed to have burdens, right? In the same way, I'm not afraid, because how could I be afraid of anything? My mama got chased by the Klan. I sound crazy to myself. But I have a right to be afraid of things, right? But I can't, right? The experience of my parents don't allow me to express certain kinds of things that sort of broadly human emotions I would be allowed to express. And so for those who are the most harmed, they're even in worse situation, because the tragedy, the triumph story, all they feel is the tragedy. And in a lot of ways, it wasn't triumph, right? They just got out. That's not triumph. It's just moving on. So that's two groups who, in a lot of ways, those who feel like they cannot speak to it, but they are guided by it, like my brother. And then those who are so traumatized by it, and they can't sort of place themselves in the tragedy, the triumph narrative. They have no place to go, nobody to talk to, and nobody who they feel will understand them if they say, I really hated my father when he did that. This is the way in which a lot of people are not allowed to share who they are and their experiences in all the ways white supremacy and parents having to respond to that white supremacy was damaging. And this is, to me, is not and I want to be real clear, that is not the fault of the parents. That is the fault of white supremacy, right? But when you looking at your mama and daddy, white supremacy is not standing there saying, now let me tell you, tell them this, what they see are their parents. And if you have not spent a lifetime working through that, and I think people who are the educators, who are the artists, and who are the active civil rights or civil servants, we're actually working through that through the work that we do, right? And so we have a way to talk and think and speak about these things that has to do with our own ability to have worked through some things, right? A lot of people have not taken a position that allows them to do that, and so it just remains there and it festers. And so no, you can't talk about it. And then there are the ones who you can't get them to talk about nothing. They will not. If you only know because you found out through some other means, and you ask them about it, and they'll say just a portion of it, and then that's it. There will be no other further discussion, and it stays locked up, and they don't have a space, right, to really let it go.